Oh, do I have a doozy for you now? So this is episode number 36 of Crazy Confession Stories of an Uber Lyft Driver. Yeah, episode number 36. So this one isn't actually a ride that happened. This one is about Lyft in particular and why I never had a loyalty to one over the other at all, but now I'm feeling more loyal to Uber than I am over Lyft. This is a serious blemish against Lyft. It's more than a blemish, actually. So here it goes. And there's also a very important lesson about security and, your livelihood and thinking you're safe when you're not safe and all these things. But here it goes. This happened a little over a week ago. So I didn't make the video right away, obviously. I just now felt like getting around to it. All right. So I go to turn my Lyft app on and it won't turn on. I get a message that says, check your email messages about something to do with, obviously I'm paraphrasing, check your email messages about something to do with violating the community standards. I'm like, well, that's weird. Can't imagine what that would be. I always get 5 stars from my passengers. They're really happy. I get all these reviews. I'm one of their top star drivers. So, okay, so I check my email and I get an email stating that my Lyft account as a driver has been deactivated until I respond back about some allegations about me driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol. So what happened was one of my riders, I have no idea who it could have been because they've all been great. That particular day I was reflecting on each individual ride. It's like, I can't imagine, there was no weirdness happening. There was no anger. It was just good feelings, good energy with every passenger. So who could this double-faced sociopath be? I have no idea. But anyway, that was the allegation made against me. And so I responded. Lyft got back to me a few hours later. And, I just had to answer some questions. So I answered their questions. Basically, no, I don't do drugs. No, I don't drink and drive. And I went a little bit further to explain how I've never done drugs. I've never even experimented with weed. I've never had a drink before driving and all these other things. I don't have a police record. You can look me up on CCAPs. I don't show up because I'm squeaky clean. I'm as straight-laced as it comes. I mean, I'm a real square. And so he wrote back, oh, we're very happy to hear you don't do drugs or drink and drive. We've turned your account back on. And so then I wrote back with the next obvious thing. I said, okay, this is deeply concerning. First, thanks for turning my account back on. But are you telling me that you've given all of your riders unmitigated power to, at the very least, temporarily shut down somebody's income, their livelihood, based on what they say with no evidence whatsoever? I understand launching an investigation, anytime an accusation is made, they got to do that. But to actually shut down literally somebody's livelihood because somebody said something just based on hearsay, that is egregious, unacceptable, unforgivable policy making by Lyft. And maybe Uber has the same policy. I don't know. All I know is on Lyft I experienced it. And so that has created this, okay, I actually do have a loyalty now. If I had to pick one over the other, I would go with Uber. And Uber probably does the same thing too. I mean, let's get real. So that's just big business in America, as usual, that kind of stuff. So here's the lesson. Now me, thankfully, many years ago, a dozen years ago, I was smart enough for a dumb guy. I was smart enough for a dumb guy to start building residual income from assets that I own. And I'm so glad that I did that, because if you have a job, or even if you're self-employed and you're doing Lyft and Uber or, whatever, your income can be shut down at any time for any reason. They owe you nothing and they can get away with it. It's legal. It's legal. And then what are you going to do? 98% of the population has zero residual income, zero passive income from anywhere, let alone from an asset that they actually own and control. That income that comes from your job, or even if you're self-employed and you're a private contractor for whoever, like Lyft or Uber, that income is still owned and controlled by somebody else. It just is. That is what it is. So there's no safety or security in that. And this was just another reminder of that, because really the first place my head went to when this happened is like, holy shit. Imagine all those other drivers out there. The mass majority of them all I'm sure well over 90%, probably close to 98% that replicates the rest of the population. The overwhelming majority of the drivers out there, almost all of them, if that happens to them, they're screwed. They don't have anything else. They don't have, they might have a regular job, but then that regular job is earning zero residual, zero passive income as well. And anything could happen with that job and that source of livelihood. And so that's the nature of life. So that's the lesson. And I think 1 or 2 out of 100 of you watching this might do something about it. The rest of you, 98, 99% of you won't. And when something happens, you're going to be caught with your pants down because you did nothing to resolve that problem before it happened. So whoever the 1 or 2 of you are, I guess you can decide to be that 1 or 2 of you. Start researching residual passive income. Find ways that you can generate it and get started on it, because that takes time to build it. It took me 2.5 years, about 20 minutes a day in my precious minutes of spare time. And that's important to know, because virtually everybody that gets started on it, they have another full-time job, because you have to have a way to pay bills right now. That's just a fact of life. So you get started on it in your precious minutes of spare time, and it might take a couple of years, but then you emerge at a beautiful place where, okay, I'm fine. I'm covered now with this new residual passive income from that upfront consistent investment of time. So that's what it is. So find something. And if you want to see what I've done, that I got started in August of 2007 is when I started. And I became a financially free person in February of 2010. So that was a long time ago. Just ask me. I'm happy to share with you what I did. And I'm always happy to sign up new people who are hungry to be free, to be healthy, natural, organic health, and organic residual passive money, and merging the two, the natural health, chemical free. I help people live chemical free, healthy, natural lives and make really good organic residual money. So I'm always happy to sign up new people for that. Just let me know. I'll share it with you. See if it turns you on or not. That's all I've got. Tisk tisk on Lyft. That is pretty egregious, man. I hope they change that policy. And if Uber has the same policy, I hope they change it as well. That is unforgivable, unacceptable, but it is what it is. So knowing that, you have to be able to position yourself to where you're not vulnerable to somebody else shutting down your income, your literal livelihood. Don't be vulnerable to that anymore. You are right now, if you're 98% of the population. So transition into maybe 1 or 2 out of 100 people that, safety, security, freedom, low stress. Bye for now.